Yo, what's going on, boys? So, you're likely pressing on this video because you want to know what goes into an aesthetic physique. How do I create this aesthetically pleasing physique? Um, I'm just going to give you things that I think are necessary for it, things that go into an aesthetic physique. Maybe you've been training for a little bit and just not seeing the progress you want to see, or maybe you want to skip having to build a good frame and then and that taking 1 to 2 years and then having to go in and training specific muscle groups, things like that. It's just, if you want to skip that whole process, this video is great for you. And remember, in fitness, don't think in days and weeks, think in months and years. Fitness is a marathon, it is not a race, and it takes time in order to actually build a high quality physique. It just takes time. So if you're not willing to put in the time, skip this video. This video is not for you. But if you're actually serious and you actually want to improve your physique, stay, because I'm going to give you everything that is required to have an aesthetic physique. So let's get straight into it. First thing is a lean body. You need to get leaner, right? This is obvious. And these things are going to rank from most obvious to least obvious. The last thing nobody knows about. Nobody does. Um, and people just don't think about it, especially beginner lifters. Beginner lifters don't ever think about this. And I see so many guys for the last one that just don't do this. And it's like, why? It's like, why? But um, first one being, you need to just get leaner. This one is super simple to do. It just takes time. Everything in fitness is very simple. It's just hard to execute on. Um, the perfect range, I would say, is, I mean, if you're a single digit body fat, that would be the most ideal thing. But being in that 10 to 13% range of body fat is like perfect. You're golden right there because it's maintainable. It looks really good. It's above average, and you'll have striations on the places you need them. You'll be golden if you can get there, right? Because you can't be aesthetic when you have 20% body fat, right? So to do this, I mean, just find your maintenance, whatever that is. You can just go into a calorie tracker, find your maintenance, and you want to just eat. You can do it slowly or quickly. You can eat 500 below your maintenance, eating zero point 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or you can do it slower. I'm more of a main gainer. Like, that's what I've been doing over the last 6 years of my life, is just main gaining. Just eating slightly above to gain weight. You can do the same for losing it. If you want to pack on muscle and lose fat at the same time, eat around 200 to 300 calories below. Do that over a consistent amount of time while eating the correct amount of protein. And bro, like, literally just do that and you will get leaner and pack on muscle. So it's not complicated. It's just hard to execute on, right? So that's the first thing, is you need to get leaner, bro. You need to get leaner, and it just takes time. Don't overcomplicate it. I've built my entire physique through intuitive eating. Never tracked a calorie. Well, I tracked for like 2 months, and then I stopped. And ever since then, I've been intuitively eating. I've built an amazing physique at my age, I think. Um, it's simple. It's just hard to execute on. Second thing is broad shoulders. Okay, and I want to go into training shoulders because a lot of people don't know how to train shoulders. They don't know good exercises. They think just doing normal, lateral raises will get you. I would say the best exercise, and this is the one that I do all the time. I love it. I pretty much don't do any other exercise for my shoulders. There's three different parts of the shoulder. There's the front delt, the side delt, we can call it, and then the rear delt. You want to focus mainly on, obviously, the lateral delt, the side, because that's what people see from the front, and then the rear delt for the side profile, because that's what people are going to see from the side. Building the rear delt and the side delt combined, you want to focus on your front delt too, but if you're doing a lot of chest, you'll just build that up naturally. But building your side delt and your rear delt is going to give your shoulder more of like that 3D look. It's going to make it more round. And then in shirts, you're going to look way better than just like having a bulge sticking out the side of your shirt, but in the back, there's nothing there. right? And along with this, we can add one with this is building up a solid upper back. Um, I think that's also pretty important too. A lot of people say not to build up your traps. You can a little bit. I've done quite a bit of work on my traps just because I like that look. You know, you can still have an aesthetic physique and build your traps. Like if you go look at some of my pictures, like my traps are pretty good and built up, and I still have a pretty aesthetic physique. But don't build your traps up too much because then you're just gonna look like you're gonna be like this and you're gonna look like a pit bull. And you see how it makes my shoulders look more, it makes my body look more round rather than if I'm like this, I look like a mogger, bro. Like, so don't build up your traps too much, but do focus on your upper back, just because that's gonna make you look better in shirts, especially on like shirts sort of like this or ones that run off your body really well. You know, you want you want your upper back to be built because that's what's going to show through the shirt, right? So shoulders, upper back. The exercise that I love to do for my lateral delt is leaning lateral raises. The best exercise. And always do lightweight. Lightweight, 10 to 15 reps. I would aim for like 12 to 15. Basically, you get the bench, set it at a 45-degree. You lean on it, and what that does is it causes tension to constantly be on your shoulder. So whenever you come down to this angle, since you're leaned over, you still are going to have tension on your shoulder. And then when you come up, you're going to I like to bend my arm just a little bit, and as I come up, I'm twisting my wrist, sort of like pouring a teacup. So I'm just coming up, pouring the tea out, coming back down. Super simple. Do them nice, slow, and controlled. That's going to give you striations in no time on your shoulders. Apply that with just lowering your body fat, bro, and you'll look insane. I'm telling you. Like, broad shoulders is a necessity when it comes to building that physique. The third one that is a lot harder to achieve because it's genetics is a small waist. That's going to give you, even like I said, moving into the next, the broad shoulders is going to flow into the next one. Broad shoulders plus a skinny waist is going to create that V taper look. This is more genetic. If you're just not gifted genetically with a small waist, you know, there's not much that you can do about it, but you can just lose the fat around your waist by just lowering the amount of body fat that you have. There's no specific exercise to lose your love handles. Like me, I'm pretty lean and I just naturally carry more fat in my love hand or right here at my waist. Like if I didn't, I would have an even smaller waist than I do. And if you've looked at my content, I have a very small waist for a guy. Like, it's weird. But just keeping your nutrition on point, keeping things simple again, and just spending the time in the gym, the time making the correct foods, and actually learning about your nutrition and things like that. This whole process is easier when you have somebody mentoring you, guiding you, and basically telling you exactly what to do rather than having to figure it all out on your own. So, small waist, necessity. If you're just born with a naturally big waist, that's all right. If you're wearing a shirt, most of the time we're not wearing compression shirts just everywhere we go. So it's not too big of a deal. Getting into the last two that people just don't know about. Number 4 is good posture. Oh my goodness. Nobody knows this. Like, if you don't have good posture, you're going to look like a chud. Like, that's it. If you don't have good posture, you're going to look bad, even if you're big. Okay? What is good posture? Good posture, I try to keep it while I'm sitting. Good posture is shoulders back and chest up. Because I could just put my shoulders back, but that sort of looks weird. It's like shoulders back and chest up. If you keep this posture, and like the lighting's terrible here, and I have a black shirt, so you're not able to see much shadows or anything. But keeping your like, imagine me like this, sort of like how I've been throughout the video. And this is how I used to sit all the time. Everywhere I went, I was just like hunchback like this. And this is how most people are. This is how most people are. If you're not aware of it, this is how you're going to naturally sit. And then this compared to this, like, there's no comparison. So good posture is absolutely necessary. It widens your shoulders, it tightens up your waist. Like, don't just like do this. Like, lengthen your whole body. Whenever you lengthen your whole body, your waist gets smaller due to the lengthening. So like, you can sit just like this, but your waist is still gonna be, and that's mainly for like when you have a shirt off and stuff. But just lengthen out your body, like open up. Like, most people are just sitting closed in. Like, open up your body, allow your physique to flow really well, and I promise your physique will look much better whenever you actually have good posture. And the final one that nobody knows for some reason, and I was going to actually do it today, is grooming, is actually shaving and looking good and keeping yourself healthy. An aesthetic guy doesn't have a bunch of acne. An aesthetic guy doesn't have a bunch of hair everywhere. Because not only is that just a more clean look, which is the aesthetic look, but it allows for more definition in your muscles. Like you'll get so much, you'll be able to see things so much better. Shadows will flow more on your body, they'll show more on your body. Like right now I'm growing back a bit of hair on my arm. I don't grow much hair on my arms. Um But like right after I shave and I flex my forearms, I mean, you could see all the striations on my forearms, and you could see all of it. You know, my biceps too. I don't have striations on my biceps. I'm getting them right here in the middles. But whenever you shave, especially your chest, your stomach, if you grow hair there, dude, your abs will show so much better. Um, this is maybe the reason you can't see your abs, is because there's hair blocking the shadows from actually hitting your body in the right way. Or maybe, because that's what'll happen. Like a lot of people will have abs, but because they have hair covering everything, you can't see them. So grooming and just taking care of your health, taking care of your skin too, doing a skincare routine is great. Getting a haircut every so often. I personally don't even like getting haircuts. I don't even get them that much. I got one recently, and I was like, I may not get one for another 4 months, but but yeah, grooming yourself. It's like nobody thinks of it, but it is super important to have an aesthetic physique. So that's just 5 quick things that I have done. I've done all of these things. I've grown my shoulders. If you look at my posts, I have striations. All of my they look super clean through literally doing that one exercise. I say that because that's the one exercise I do. And for rear delts, there's so many things you could do. You could do reverse pec deck. What I like to do is bent over rear delt flies. So you just sit down, bend over, get a light 10 or 5 pound weight, and just do a bunch of this and twist your wrist out so that you focus more on the rear delt and you're not focusing more on your upper back. So that's what I do for rear delts. Again, all of these things are genetics. If you just don't have the best genetics, that's okay. You can still build a great physique. I know tons of guys who have terrible genetics and have built a physique better than 99% of people. But hope this video could help. Um, and yeah, boys, keep hitting the gym. Stay consistent. Remember, fitness is a marathon. It is not a race. Be in it for the long term, and you will reap the rewards. I promise. Peace.